Hey everyone, this is Anna with Wick, and tonight I wanted to do my first real video for Wick Creations. Um, so when when 2019 rolled around, I seriously I sat at my creating space and I thought, okay, so what's the first candle I want to make for 2019? And rather quickly it hit me over the head that I wanted to make a wolf moon candle. Reason being, when working with the moons and their different energies, every moon, uh, each moon for each month, each full moon for each month, has a special name. If you've watched any of my past videos, in 2017, I think I did a focus on making incense, loose incense for each full moon, as kind of an honoring and also a research thing, because we all know how much I love to geek out about that stuff. So, the wolf moon particularly, I thought I would really connect to it when I very first, long ago, started researching and kind of understanding the different moons and what energies and different themes they have or intents they can bring. Because as well as each month has a different full moon, each a different full moon name, each full moon kind of has different energies tied to it. If you're someone that practices or works with moon magic or moon energy, you might not want to do, a manifestation spell or working, on the same night as, let's say, and now I'm drawing a blank, the cold moon. Probably not the best time for it. But for sometimes it doesn't matter what the traditional correspondences are. It matters what your personal experience is. As always, anytime I do a video or start to spout off with what my take is on things or what my feelings are on things, please know that's all they are. They're my opinions. They're my personal belief, what I've found in my own experience. By no means is this anything anyone else has to take up or agree with. If I say something or a correspondence or something that kind of jives with you and it resonates, cool. Explore that. See if that might mean something for you on a personal level as well. But in the contrary, if I say something and you're like, nope, that's so not right, that's so not cool, please just let it be. Just leave it by the wayside, because everyone's going to have different experiences, different feelings, different thoughts. And I in no way mean to tell you or dictate to you what you should or should not believe. That's not what it's about. Everyone's path is valid. And I certainly don't mean to come down on that. So, now with that out of the way, the wolf moon, for me, as much as I thought it would connect to me and I thought it would resonate and be this wonderful, amazing, enlightening period of time, no, it's not. It's hard. It is rough. It 9 times out of 10 brings up some drama. Some of the worst fights I've had have been on this moon. I've gone through amazing bouts of anxiety and depression during this time. It's rough. It always seems to be my shadow working moon. It's the most bizarre time to me in my mind would be that it falls on this, but it does. It's like, this is a huge issue for me. The reason I find it so weird is the wolf is a very special animal to me. It's my totem animal. I see it as my protector. And so I thought, oh, this would be a great time for me to connect to my inner self. Well, it is. It's just, instead of connecting to that kind of shamanistic protector side of me, it connects to the shadow self and all those wonderful things that, I'm not entirely sure about, and maybe I have some hesitation towards, and I'm very uncomfortable with. That's the side of me that seems to connect on this night. So getting back to the point, when I sat down for 2019 and said, I'm going to make a candle, what candle am I going to make? It hit me the wolf moon was coming up, and it hit me that this year, not only is it the wolf moon, it is like the mamma jamma of wolf moons. It is a it's a super blood moon lunar eclipse, all that wonderful energy jam-packed into one event. So it's going to hit, and it's going to hit hard. And so I thought, I'm going to make a wolf moon candle because I want to kind of start getting myself in that frame of mind and kind of prepare and think about it. And it really did help, just the process of researching and then kind of meditating with it and seeing, okay, so this is what the research said, what does my intuition say, and then sitting down with the piece and creating it. It was really a great experience. So I thought I would do a video on this, sharing not only the first creation of 2019 for Shadow Wick Creations, but also a piece that actually brought me a lot of enlightenment and a lot of, hits upside the head. So the candle that I made is to connect to and honor the energies of the wolf moon. The wolf moon's energies are traditionally new beginnings, healing, money, protection, strength, connection to family, communication, and it can also kind of touch on some darker aspects as well. It can lend itself to danger. It can lend itself to warning. The connection to money that it has is usually thought of, I've heard quite a few people comment where, these are usually leaner times. It's after the holidays. So money's kind of an issue. It's dealing with kind of obstacles and finding the way around it, is what I've found and heard and had a little bit of reading on, but usually it's a focus on new beginnings and family and communication. But I think those darker aspects are certainly something to take into account as well. I have a wonderful book called Llewellyn's Book of Correspondence. It was gifted to me by a wonderful woman, Maria. I can't thank you enough, sweetie. Seriously, I use it daily. And I'm not the only one that uses it. I'm pretty sure everyone in my household has used it. It's a thing. So in that wonderful book, it sure enough goes through each of the full moons. So I'm able to read kind of what the traditional correspondences are and then sit with them and go, okay, is this really what I am connecting to? Because I don't want to create something I don't connect to, because magic's not going to be in it. Even though it's not a piece for me, I still wanted to be able to put my energy into it and connect to it. But I did jive with the colors. The colors for the wolf moon are purple, white, and gray. Purple, traditionally, you'll probably hear papers rustling. It's my notes, so I don't forget things. Purple kind of connects to magical sides of things. It's meditation, it's spiritual, astral projection, dreaming workings, home protection, and home blessings. I thought that was very important given this moon. It also connects to wisdom, inspiration, success, power. I just got done saying it's like this wolf moon is going to be the super blood moon, lunar eclipse, all this jazz. Like, that's a lot of power. That's a lot of ampage. And then it also connects to healing and aiding with sleep. So when I kind of read through those things and kind of also connected it to some personal correspondences I have for the color purple, I thought it was a perfect color to do the main base of the candle with. So I'm going to kind of tilt it because it catches the light a little better. I did go with a lighter purple, and the essential oil that I used to scent the base pillar is lavender. Lavender was mentioned as an herb that would connect to the wolf moon, but I also wanted to use it. I often use it when I create a purple candle, I feel like, yeah, it's probably cliche. Everyone expects, oh, lavender candle, lavender scent. But for me, the color purple, and especially the lighter one, the lighter hues of it or colors, they connect you a bit more to peace. They connect you a bit more to healing. And considering the darker side of that wolf moon, I want there to be a bit of peace. I want there to be a bit of healing. Anytime you are dealing with shadow or darkness, I'm one of those people that is a huge believer in working with darkness and working with shadow as long as it serves. But we also need to be gentle with ourselves when we are doing that. And so I think working with essential oils like lavender, chamomile, eucalyptus, things that are healing and peace driven, I think will aid with that. Lavender also as an essential oil, just to kind of give a couple more markers for just a base. Lavender as an essential oil connects to love, protection, peace, healing, cleansing, which I really like. I like when I can use something that has a cleansing factor to it, especially with shadow working, because I think it's very good for working with that darker side, embracing it, letting it have its moment, but then cleansing that out. Once it has served its purpose and it no longer serves, get rid of that junk, sweetie. It's just going to be something that you don't need to take with you. You've had it, it's had its time, you've honored that process, now move on. So I like the cleansing aspect very much. And it also helps to bring harmony to the home. So again, kind of connecting to that family energy that the wolf moon brings. I liked that as well. So then I moved on to the sigil. And the sigil, if you lay it on its side, you have the goddess symbol, the maiden crescent, the full moon for the mother, and the waning crescent for the crone. But I flipped it vertically so it would fit. So yes, you have maiden, mother, crone. The maiden has a spiral going in left to right, and the crone spiral is going right to left. So again, you have that balance of kind of the dark and the light, or however you may see it, the crone and the maiden. And then in the middle of the full moon, I'm trying to figure, there we go, is a sigil that I created specifically for the wolf moon. I like this basic formula, for lack of a better phrase, for the sigil. So I think each full moon will have a similar base sigil, but then the middle of the full moon will always have something a little different for that specific moon. And then on the back, we have 2 pentagrams, and inside those is a basic honoring. When I carve pentagrams in at the beginning of a working and then after a working or an honoring or a prayer, however you see it, I always make sure the first one is invoking and the last one I put is a banishing. So what you do is you're pulling in the magic and energy or what have you, however you view it, and then you write your blessing, your honoring, your spell, whatever you connect to. And then at the end, you use the banishing pentacle or pentagram, because then it's done. That little bit of script is where the magic is. Of course, in a candle, it's throughout the whole piece. But for me, it's always been very important if I am writing script down to have magic within that script as well. I realize that sounds kind of hippy-dippy, but hopefully that resonates and makes sense. I used the Theban or the witch's alphabet. I love using this alphabet. I find it connects to a lot of traditions all at once, so I like that. And it's just very basic. It says, I honor the great full moon wolf goddess. Plain and simple, that's what this piece is for. It's to honor the wolf moon. For me, when I say moon, it very easily transitions into goddess. So for me, it's almost one and the same, or is one and the same. And then the stone I used at the bottom is a garnet. Again, I went to my little correspondence book, or my big correspondence book, and the stones they gave were garnet, moonstone, rose quartz, ruby, and red tourmaline. The two stones I instantly went to were the garnet and the rose quartz. And I chose garnet because rose quartz and garnet, for me personally, have very similar feels, but one is darker and one is lighter. And again, there's something about A, the totem of the wolf, but B, also the full moon. Both kind of bring out that darker side. They both kind of lend themselves to a bit more of a seductive quality. Something a little bit more primal, something a bit more within that has a bit of meat on it, for lack of a better phrase. And for me, that's what a garnet is. A garnet has that love connection, but it's a more lusty, passionate, seductive kind of love. Garnet traditionally, just to give some basic notes, all about fertility. It helps to clear negativity, aids with the balance of yin and yang energies. I like balance. That makes sense. It helps promote courage, protection, love, passion. Can aid in business success, deepens commitments, and aids in past life recall or regression. So for me, I connect to the courage, I connect to the protection, I definitely connect to the passion and the seductiveness and the clearing of energy. Holistically, garnet, I know, is used by a lot of people to work on blood issues. It kind of helps with the circulatory system, I believe. I liked that for the wolf moon as well, because again, it's connecting to, for me, that connects to the idea of the ancestors. Anything that's of blood connects to family. And again, with the wolf, they're a very family-oriented animal. And the wolf moon, you connect to family and the house and the home. And so that blood connection, I really like. And again, it goes into kind of that darker primal energy. And I'm a sucker for that kind of idea. So that is the base of the candle. The top of the candle, I have a 13 item blend. Usually when I work with lunar energies, I focus on either 9 or 13. I have some very broad topics here. Please know there are more individualistic connections for each herb, spice, flower, what have you. I'm just going to give a real basic idea. So I chose 2 items to connect to new beginnings, and those were clove and mistletoe. I also like mistletoe for creativity, and it helps to protect and repel negativity and misfortune. Clove I like not only because of the new beginning connection, but it adds a bit of warmth, a bit of kinship, and it helps to amplify energies. So I liked that for this candle specifically as well. Again, it connects to the family, it connects to home, and it also kind of connects to that blood moon aspect. Sorry, I've got one of my candles going a little crazy here. Blessed be, I'm just gonna blow that bad boy out. There we go. Sorry about that. And then for healing, I chose 2 items. I chose sage and mullein. I'm never sure how to pronounce. I'm sorry. I read a lot. I don't hear a lot of pronunciation, so please excuse me if I'm mispronouncing. So those are both for healing. Sage also is obviously a cleanser. When you go to sage your house during the new moon or whenever you feel it. It also helps to deal with grief and give a bit of wisdom and soothing. Uh, Muline or what have you also is good for protection, and it adds to healing and courage, amongst other things. Those were just the key points I liked for this specific blend. For communication, the essential lavender oil also dealt with that. It connected to the communication aspect. But I also, in the top ring, used jasmine. Realize I should probably show you guys. Jasmine and willow. Both jasmine and willow also connect to lunar energy or moon magic. The female divine, divination, spiritual connections. Willow also helps with wishes and protection. Jasmine, I find, lends itself to kind of that seductiveness, that sensuality, also love and beauty. So I liked having those connected as well. For the home or the family aspect, I chose rose and patchouli. Rose is also good, aside from love and family and domestic happiness. You've got strength and courage, which I really like. I like that you have a flower that's so often thought of as a romantic item. It's thought of for love. It's thought of sometimes for lust. It's thought of as just beautiful. But something that is so beautiful is also something that can give you strength and give you courage. And I think it's good to remind us that although something is beautiful, doesn't mean it takes away its strength. And I think also a rose is very balanced because, yes, you have this beautiful bloom on it. It smells so beautiful. It looks so beautiful. But it also has thorns. It is also about protection. It is also about, if you pick me the wrong way, I'm going to get mine. Don't mess with me. Be respectful. And I love that. I dig that. And then patchouli, aside from connecting to home and family, it also is good for fertility, grounding, and prosperity. Anytime you're dealing with family, anytime you're dealing with shadow, anytime you're dealing with anything, I like to add a bit of grounding. I like that balance. I like the ability to deal with the astral, deal with that unknown, but knowing I'm going to come back to where I need to be. For the money focus, this is kind of like the Muline or Muline marjoram. I always think I'm talking about the butter. I'm not. It's the herb. And bergamot. Both of those deal with money and money drawing, which I think is pretty good around this time of year. Marjoram also deals with warmth, love, healing, cleansing, protection, and ease sadness and grief again. A lot of times during this time of year, loss is still a thing. I know this holiday season saw a lot of people dealing with the loss aspect, and I know quite a few people aren't over that. And so I think this moon will be really good for working with that as well, working your way through that process as well. And then bergamot also is great for prosperity. It's great for luck, abundance, protection, success, and power. All good, warm, and fuzzy things. Strength. I used pine and oak. Both are good for strength. Pine is also good for beginnings, release, strength, longevity, grounding again, and growth. Oak is good for so much. I'm just going to touch on a couple. So you've got strength. It also deals with knowledge or wisdom, healing. And for me personally, I connected to the masculine divine. So just as we had items to connect to the feminine divine, I like having masculine divine energy as well, even though it is the full moon, and that is very woman power, and it is very about the goddess. I like having that balance in there. And then the last item I used was simply to connect to the moon. It's in all of those incense blends, I worked with certain herbs, resins, what have you, that would connect to lunar energy. So I chose one of those that I have as my lunar list, and you may or may not agree with it, but I chose yew wood. Yew. For me, it very much connects to the moon. It probably connects to more of a crone aspect of the moon, but again, because it is kind of a darker energy, I wanted to have that kind of darkness included, as hippy-dippy as that might sound. It also helps with protection. It connects to the ancestors, so again, kind of connecting to that family base. And it also helps with breaking hexes. So again, if you're dealing with negativity and you're kind of wondering if someone sent something your way, it's a good thing to have. Yew is poisonous if ingested. So definitely, if you have kids or pets, obviously you always want to watch them around candles, but any candles that have herbs in them, on them, what have you, be a little extra protective. And then after that, I then I did the drips, sorry. So the drips, I used the other two power colors for the wolf moon, white and gray. White's good for purity, it's good for unity, blessing, spirit, connects to truth, enlightenment. It also helps for guidance. Gray is good for stability, it removes negativity, removes influence, perhaps negative influence, promotes psychic abilities. Both white and gray, because gray I kind of see as gray, silver, it kind of can intertwine, or it's kind of a fluid concept. Both of those I personally connect to moon energy or lunar energy. So it was one of those things, they were power colors for this specific moon, but it jived with me, so that's why I used them both for the drips. And again, that's kind of what the top looks like there. Then I consecrated the entire piece with honeysuckle oil, essential oil. Honeysuckle oil connects to strength, prosperity. It helps to sweeten life. And it also, I find, because it does have that honey aspect, honey connects to bees, so it kind of goes into that whole idea of productivity, motivation, bolstering of energy. And again, that's kind of more on a personal level for me. The more traditional is the strength, prosperity, and the sweetening of life, or enjoying of life, the pleasure. Then on the bottom, you'll notice on Shadow Wick, I can't let go, sorry, on Shadow Wick candles, there's always kind of a spiral or some engraved words on the base. All those ever are it can kind of change based on candle, but it's always a blessing or a guarantee that if the candle is, for some reason, if the wick gets smothered, if the candle can't be lit because you live in an apartment and hey, they don't like that, or you've got cats or dogs and you don't trust it, or you just don't like lighting candles, no matter what, whether the candle is lit or whether it is not lit, the energies are going to connect to what the energies are supposed to connect to. And they will be there if you need them, whether it's lit or whether it is not. And then in the center, I have my pentagram stamp in silver sealing wax, silver again to connect to the moon. And inside that divot that the sealing wax and the star are holding in are 3 crystal chips for charging this. And the crystal chips in this are garnet, clear quartz, and onyx. Clear quartz and onyx, again, kind of the yin-yang, female, masculine, it's that balancing act, and garnet, again, to connect to that specific moon. So, after that half-hour explanation, that is all kind of the nerdy intricacies that create the Wolf Moon candle. The Wolf Moon candle is on sale on Etsy, www.etsy.com/shop/Shadowwick Creations. And I believe this piece is $25 plus shipping and handling. So I'll put the blurbs in the box below, But otherwise, I just like nerding out about correspondences and intents and kind of what was going through my mind and sharing that, because if something does resonate with you and you're like, I like it, but I don't really know why, well, maybe something I said in this 30-minute video, if you were, courageous enough to stick through it, maybe something I said really connected to you and you're like, oh my gosh, nope, that makes sense. Or maybe something I said was like, oh God, that's horrific. Why on earth would you think that was something you should do? Who knows? Whatever. It's just my take and my creation that I wanted to share a bit more in depth. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I think something I'm going to try doing and see if it takes root, see if it makes sense for me and it feels right, is every month I'm going to try to do a few different pieces and do videos on them. My hope is every month, or at least this month I'm trying it, and we'll see how it goes. I've learned not to make promises and then find out, no, it didn't feel right, so I never did it again. But every month I'd like to make a full moon candle for that month's specific moon. And then choose a god and a goddess to focus on. And then a spirit, totem, power animal that I can kind of connect with and do a piece on. And then a gemstone for each month. And I thought there was one more, and now I'm blanking. I think that's it. I think a gemstone was it. So, yeah. This month, so for January, we have the wolf moon candle that you just sat through. The goddess that I'm going to be working with is Brigid, or Breed, or Brigid. There's so many different ways to pronounce her name. Celtic goddess of smithing, healing, poetry, arts, just everything, flame and sacred wells. She's just so much bottled into one energy that it's incredible. And then for the god focus, I'm actually working with the Greek god Eros, Aphrodite's son, aka in the Roman pantheon Cupid. So that is another piece. I know on our Facebook page I shared the sigil that I was creating for him. And then for the spirit animal, totem animal, power animal, whatever, however you connect to it, I chose the robin, which that candle just got put up on Etsy yesterday. So the robin is the animal, and then the gemstone that I'm going to be working with is January's birthstone, which is the gemstone. And I think that's probably how I'm going to work the gemstones, is just go with the birth stone for that month. So yeah, thank you guys so much for sticking it out with me. Thanks for watching the video and coming back to the YouTube channel after it's been about a year and a half or a year or so of dormancy. I really appreciate it, and I hope everyone has an amazing January, and I hope that the wolf moon helps show you all that you need and connects you to where to bring the rest of your year. Whether that be to focus on the darker aspects, or maybe it is something that you can connect to and enjoy and have fun with. I hope it gives you everything you're looking for to kick off the year. Blessed be, and have a great night. Bye, guys.